Hey there, and how are you today? My name is Carla. I am an adult doll collector, and you are in my hangout. And today, we are looking at some of the girls from the neighborhood in their new sundresses. And we're going to do a tutorial on how to make one. Now, when you make them, you can have 3 of these are made with the ruffle method, and then this one is made with pleats. And anything else you do to them, you can leave the neckline, the bodice line basic, or you can make a sweetheart bodice. On a couple of them, I added little buttons, tiny little buttons and smaller buttons. They're pretty versatile. So now, with that being said, let's get on with the tutorial. Fair warning, I am not a seamstress. This is not a sewing lesson. Do not follow me for sewing advice, because I'm winging it. Just saying. Now, let's get on with the tutorial. Alright, I'm going to show you how to make my little spring dress. Keep in mind, it is nothing fantastic. It's just what I came up with to make a spring dress. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking on this, because talking and sewing, for me, is not the best idea. I'm going to go with a fabric that's this color. This is like a blush pink. And I'm going with the threads that are in the closest color I have to it, which are these two. And I realize they do not match perfectly, but this is what I'm using. I will also be using a marking pen. I got a whole bunch of these. I got this one I got at Walmart. It cost $1. You can also order them online. I hope I post it. I think you can order packs of them from Amazon, which I believe makes them less expensive. But this is what I'm using. We will not be using the whole zipper. I'm also going to be using used dryer sheets. This is a dead useful tool. I am not the brilliant one who came up with this. I saw this 3 years ago on Ninamy, so go check out her channel for other brilliant ideas. I was only smart enough to recognize it was a brilliant idea. The first thing we're going to do is we want to iron the fabric. The scissors I use only for cutting fabric. I have them marked so I know not to use them for cutting anything else. I have my fabric cut out. Right now it's just one long straight-ish sheet, and I'm going to iron it. Use one of these. You can use whatever, but this is what I prefer to use. And just like that, I'm finished ironing. I'm going to cut off a strip of about yay far. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfectly straight, although I will try to make it straight. This is a pattern that really only has 3 pieces. I'm going to use the remaining of this for the skirt. Okay, here's the basic blouse pattern. I'm doing it in centimeters, because I find I can be more precise. So the outer edges are 3 centimeters on both ends. From bottom to top is 4.2 centimeters. The top is curved. Across the curve of the top comes to 12.5 centimeters. Across the bottom it is 12 centimeters. The little darts that we will be marking, they're 2.5 centimeters up, 1.3 centimeters across, and there's a 1.5 centimeter part in the middle. So I cobbled this together. It's been working for me. If you probably have a better bodice thing, and if you do, I encourage you to use it. But this is what I have. I'm going to be drawing this out on this fabric. Another thing that I do is I like to find where the bust line is, so I make sure that I don't make my darts go up too high. This has been a problem for me in the past, so this is how I stop myself. You probably don't need to do this. I'm just going to turn my pattern upside down and find about where I want the bodice, the cup area to be. And I think I'm going to have it be a little here. So I'm just drawing the line here so I know not to sew past this line when I'm making the, the things. Then for me, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because I am so very precise. Yeah. I'm taking a dryer sheet and I'm going to put this near the top of it. I'm not going to sew the whole thing, just some of it. So let me get the sewing machine threaded up and we'll get going. Fair warning, this is me showing you how I'm making this dress pattern. This is by no means a sewing lesson. I am self-taught and all of you seamstresses are going to watch this and probably be horrified. You have been warned. We will be cutting off the excess fabric. Now I know this is a lot of wasted excess fabric in this case. Try to cut pretty close to the seam. I'm just going to go back over and trim it down a little bit more, being careful not to cut my seam. After I cut this, I realized I should have made notches at the ends, and I didn't, so I'm going to have to live with that. Yay! Okay, I'm now going to turn this inside out. Now, because I was a doomkopf and did not do my corners, I've got to stick the pencil in the corners and, fix them. Fortunately, this isn't actually a big problem. Now that this is turned inside out, we're going to sew this part down. I'm going to keep it as close to this edge as possible. And again, I repeat, this is not a sewing tutorial. Again, you have been warned. It should look somewhat like this, only probably better. So Now we're going to find those darts, which you can still see through here. And I'm going to fold mine. I don't know if that's the way to do this, the correct way to do this. This is how I do it. You're going to make the straps. The straps are tedious. You don't have to do it this way. You can use ribbon for straps or any other things, but since this is a tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make them with the actual fabric, or how I make them with the actual fabric. So I just cut a piece about so long, and we're going to fold it to about 1/3 of it. And you should press it, by the way. You should absolutely press it, only I already unplugged my iron and I have something else plugged in there, so I'm not going to do that. Don't be a me. Iron it. And then I'm going to try to make a straight line. Okay, we're now going to fold this part so it overlaps in the middle. You don't want it to go all the way to the edge. I'm going to trim away any frayed edges that I find, like this, and this. Then we're going to fold this again. Till it looks like so. You might have to hand sew it. Again, look for any frayed edges. I then fold it in half. And I cut it. I then take it, and whichever side I like better. So, even though this side looks neater, but yeah, I'm going to actually go with this side. And I'm going to take it, we have the dart here. I'm just going to sew it right along where the top of the dart is. I'm going to follow, well, somewhat my old path here. And I go back and forth a couple times. You don't have to. I'm sure people that are good at this don't do that, but this is what I'm doing. There we go. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to keep following my original stitch as closely as I can. I'm going to go back around. All right, we have the straps on. Now we do the skirt. My skirt is about 11 centimeters long right now. This way, it's about 30, about 40 centimeters, but you can make it long, you can make it wider or shorter. I think that's more of a personal preference depending on what kind of skirt you want. Now this fabric does have a good side and a bad side, though both sides are nice. I believe this looks like the nice side to me, so it's going to go nice side down. And it's going to go pretty much near the top of the dryer sheet. And I'm going to sew a stitch across. Because my dryer sheet is not as long as the fabric is, I just have another one. Because, you know, we do a lot of laundry in this house. And I save my dryer sheets for this. Thank you, Ninamy. If you ever watch this, thank you very much for showing that. I'm now going to pull the dryer sheet over. And pull it taut. Till it looks like this. We're going to cut off the excess now. It should look like this. This will be the inside of the skirt, and here's the outside. And we're going to do the same thing on the rest of the edges. Your inside should look somewhat like this. I am now going to do, at this point you have a choice between doing a pleat or a ruffle. Because this fabric is really fluffy, I'm going to go with a ruffle. So I'm going to sew on my sewing machine, I'm going to go on a long stitch. You know, or if you're hand stitching, also just go with a long stitch. Okay, now I don't know if everyone does it this way or if anyone else does it this way, but this is something else I kind of had to figure out on my own. And I was learning some of this before there was even YouTube, or before I understood how to use YouTube. It's more like it. So on one end, I'm going to tie it down. So, yeah. I'm sure there's a more correct way of doing it, but this is how I do it. Now on the other end, we have these two strings. I'm going to take one of them. For me, I'm just kind of like, I try to have enough so that way I can wind it around my finger a couple times. Then I'm going to just also gently start pulling it along here. And I'm just going to keep pulling my, going down on the ribbon as well, so I feel like I have more control doing it this way. Then I start trying to make sure that the ruffles all look about right. That there's enough over on the end. Then I take the top. And now right now I'm just trying to see what the measurement is. So I want the top, I want this end to be here. and then laid out straight, so I know I need to bring this in more. Now let's see how it is again. Once I'm satisfied, yep, okay, I am going to tie off this part as well. Now we're going to take good side to good side. So here's the good side here, and here's the good side here, because you know that's the. And I'm going to try to make sure the ruffles, the little poops are up. And I'm going to take one end. And what I do is I start sewing it underneath where the ruffles are, okay? So I'm going to place this at about here. And I'm going to remember to set my sewing machine back to a regular stitch. Don't ask me how I, because yeah, there have been a few times when I forgot to do that. So this is a very fiddly part of the stage of it, but you're pretty much near the end if you've made it this far. And I'm going to try to sew along my original line. Try being the operative word. And I'm trying to make sure that all these little poops here are not sewn into the bodice. So you might have to finagle it a little bit. All right. And yes, I'm a painfully slow person at this. I know that. I realize this. I do. Now I'm going to go back across. I don't know if this is a necessary process, but I go back across. I try to follow my line. I really do try. Now we have all this. Now I don't like to have all this for the in the bodice because it makes very fat inside. So I'm going to cut it all off. I cut right down to this. I'm going to cut right down to this line. So this will be a bit of a raw edge, and I hate that it is, but I don't know of another solution. However, we are going to go across though and sew this down. So I'm going to pull it tight. And I have no idea if this is the right way of doing things, people. Okay, I really don't. This is just how I do it. There's, like I said, the seamstresses in you are probably watching this going, what the holy heck is she doing? All right, and I get that. I get it. But I want this, that way you have it. So, you know, I don't know. This is just what I do. And I'm going to go back around again. I think you figured out that that's what I do. Dress should be looking about like this, only probably better. But when you look on the inside, though, you will be seeing that you don't have all kinds of edges, you know, disentangling. So it should stay looking pretty nice for long. Okay, let's do the strap, and I'm going to sew the one just about over here. And I want to follow my original line. And I'm going to turn it around. Now, since it's just me using this, I know I don't really need to reinforce it so much, but I don't know, just in case one of my youngest granddaughter at least, comes over and wants to play with it, I want it to withstand the wear and tear of a child. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Once again, we're going to sew the end of the strap to just about where this is. Okay, I did not show how I put the zipper on the dress because I have no idea if I'm doing that correctly. And I do not want to show a person how to do something like that. That'd be incorrect. So I do have the zipper on, so yay. But yeah, but I do want to make a little sweetheart kind of little thing here, which is why I wasn't too fussed about this part, because we're going to kind of pinch it. Now I'm going to kind of just have this go through a few times. All right, so here's our little sweetheart dip. I also want to put on a little button here. So I have these tiny little buttons. All right, so here's how she looks in her dress. And I made this for the petite because I've made a few other dresses and none of them were for petite, so I kind of figured she needed a little bit of love as well. So yeah, and I like buttons. Now I'm going to add one extra little detail that my sewing machine will be doing pretty much all the work. But I'm going to add some darker pink thread on my sewing machine and just add a little whimsy to her skirt. So I'll be right back. All right, and here's the end result on the dress. And I mean, there's imperfections in it, but who am I kidding? I expect that. But I still really like it. And I love this fun little detail in here. So, yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I think she looks absolutely adorable in it. So, yeah, I'm happy with it. All right, well, that's the end of this video, and I do appreciate you joining me while we got to make this dress. It was fun, and as I said before, I'm actually quite pleased with how it came out. I hope that you will find the tutorial pretty easy to follow, and I look forward to seeing what you create. But thanks for stopping by. Now, if you like this video, please hit like. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. I love my subscribers. My subscribers, as I keep saying, but it keeps remaining true, my subscribers are the best people in the whole wide world. Now, I do provide a subscribe button. It's red. It says subscribe. It's on this side, and all you have to do is boop, and there you have it, and then you're a subscriber. And have I mentioned how much I love my subscribers? Okay, yeah, because I do. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of things. I do love to hear from you. If you take the time to comment, I will take the time to answer. Sharing is caring, and gosh, with it being spring, there might be more people looking to make some little spring dresses for their dolls as well. So go ahead and share this video. You never know who it might help. And that's about it. Now it's daytime here. It's actually a rather nice day at the moment. I am in Maine, so well, a lot of us live in states that, I mean, they're just if they were human, if the weather was human, it would be just a hot mess, right? They would be. So it's cold one day, then warm the next, and cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon, and I mean, we just don't know how to dress anymore to go outside. I mean, we just gotta pack a little bit of everything. But anyway, that's enough about the weather. So anyway, I am going to let you go now. So no matter what time of day it is, whether it's morning, noon, or night, I do hope it's fantastic because you deserve fantastic things. And I'm out of here, so goodbye.